Alright gang, we are going to start the bridge deck build of this project. It's really part two. The decking part of it, or the bridge ties and rails they call it, consists of 8 parts of these. And you're basically going to take them off the sprue and you're going to line them all up next to a straight edge, and that's really, really important. So I'm just going through and getting everything lined up here on my ruler. Flip you out here. So here's all 8 pieces together. They don't clip together or anything. They just sit there. Jesus. Now, they don't, you can notice, they don't come with rail. You need to supply your own rail. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but we're certainly going to try. This lid flips down on me just once more. Look here on the bridge deck. You see all them little ridges? All they are is little pieces of plastic that are just sticking up. But if you notice, the outside ones are higher than the inside ones. There's a reason for that. In the instructions, they tell you on the outside ones, which are actually the rail that the train will ride on, is supposed to be code 83. The inner rail is supposed to be code 70. Now, what you have to do, you can go to different suppliers. Right now, the only ones that I know of that supply just rail is Fast Tracks, the makers of the hand-laid track. You could buy them from them, but you got to buy them in bulk, like 10 pieces or more. And I don't plan on using 10 pieces. I only need 4 because I have a double track bridge. So I need one for the outside, inside, and then one outside, inside. And same with the code 70. Now, for the code 83, all I'm doing is taking a spare piece of rail that I have from my code 83 track, and I'm just going to pull this one rail out to get one solid rail, because this is 36 inches. And then I'm probably going to have to fight to get these off the ties. I guess I could just go through and cut the ties to get the second rail off. But let me explain to you. I don't know if I can. They recommend using a nail punch to basically push over those pieces of plastic that are going to serve as, I guess, your track spikes. And literally, they are just little tiny pieces of plastic. They're not even like hooks or anything. They're just, honestly, I would say they look like sprues, but they're little pieces of plastic. Now, the way that they show it in the instruction doesn't really, I mean, they actually show how it looks originally. That's all it is, a little piece of plastic. But when they're demonstrating here how to get that on there, I don't think that that's a good representation. And the funny thing is, their explanation to do this is to use a finished nail set, proceed to smear the spikes onto the rail foot. And by smear, what they're basically saying is you're going to take your nail punch and you're going to come on the side of this thing here, and you're basically going to push it over and kind of smash it onto the rail and flatten it. And it is such a soft plastic that it's really not hard to do, but at the same time, it's really not hard to break it either. I've already completed one rail on one set of 8, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but it almost looks the same. Here, let me show you the code 83 track again. See that little spike on each individual rail? See how small they are? This is kind of the same, except there's 2 of them. 2 per tie. Sorry, it's focusing on the background more than it is on the rail. So if I pull this rail out, all right, now I'm going to put that here on my straight edge. I'm just going to take one piece for now. And this thing just literally sits in that section. Now, here's what they recommend. So another point to make. This rail is 36 inches long. So what they recommend doing is putting it down on a straight edge. You can't see it because it's off camera. But I've got it over on my left-hand side. It's at the end of my straight edge, which is at 1 inch. But you really need to see that. This lid on this magnifier is insane. And they say mark your rail at halfway. So obviously it's a 36-inch rail. 18 inches the halfway point. I'm going to grab my marker here. And just for my reference, I'm going to say that's where my midpoint is. Right? Now, going back to the original product, you've got 8 of these decks, right? So that's 4 on each side. So 4 are going to go there. And 4 are going to go there. And what I'm going to do is take one rail. For right now, I'm going to start right in the middle. And I'm going to put this guy on there. And again, it doesn't click. It doesn't snap. It just kind of sits there. Just like that. And then I'm going to take my punch here, and I'm hoping you can see this, but you're literally just going to take your punch, and right here is those ties. You're going to push those over and smush them onto the rail. Does that make sense? Zoom in a little bit here. There's a better view. Here, I'll do that again. So you can see they're just pieces of plastic. You're going to take your nail head and you're going to push that over and smush it onto the rail. That's what holds your rail down. And you're going to do it on the other side as well. I found that on the parts where you can't really see, like this backside, the way I'm actually sitting, I can't see. If you do it nice and slow through a couple of passes, it's easier than trying to do it in one shot. But that's it. And that's how the rail is held on. Look, zoom back out. So I'm going to pick up the rail, and it picks up the track, or the ties. So we know we got a good connection there. But that's how that's done. And you got to do it 8 times for each piece. And then you got to put in the entire second rail. And then if you choose to, you could do the code 70, which is the guide rail on both sides. So that'll give you 4 rails, and it'll look just like that. 4 rails. 2 of them will be code 70 on the inside. 2 will be code 83 on the outside. Hope that helps. I'm going to finish this out, and then I'll show you my finished product.